you couldn't make it 24/7 without something exploding, something going off. And my oldest son turns around to me. He sees me, big smile gets on his face, and he says, "Daddy, I did not think you were coming." That my own son stopped believing in me. All that's getting bottled up and put to the side just so I can have a normal conversation with you. My name is Jonathan Breehl. I'm from Hagerstown, Maryland. I joined the Marine Corps in 2005. 11 months later, I was deployed to Habbaniya, Iraq, where I was ultimately injured by a roadside IED three and a half months into my tour. I joined the Marine Corps in part because my grandfather was a Marine. He raised me. And I do have a long line of men in my family who have joined the service in several different branches. And I wanted my name to go down in history like that. I wanted to make my mark in that way. I wanted to be one of those men that stepped forward and made that sacrifice for his country. I wanted to feel that honor. I do feel that honor now.
What were some of the things that you were willing to go and fight for?
I was willing to fight for my family. I was willing to fight for the freedoms that we have. I was willing to fight for those kids that I don't even know that are down the street that don't quite have the future yet, but if I can help secure that future in my own way, then I know that I'm making a difference in the world.
What did you ultimately sacrifice in fighting for that?
Ultimately, I sacrificed a lot. I didn't know it at first, how much I sacrificed until later in life, but I sacrificed my youth. I sacrificed my physical body. I was injured. I suffered through those injuries for years. I was a tremendous athlete before that, and after that, I wasn't. I gave that up for my country.
As a United States Marine, Jonathan's time in Iraq was consumed by daily routines and consistent acts of terrorism.
When I was in Iraq, in Habbaniya, Iraq, we were running like a rotating system. We were either on QRF, Quick Reaction Force, or we rotated to guard duty, where we were guarding the outlook point that we were stationed at across the wire, or we were in a group that was pushing patrols, or we were in a group that was getting about 3 hours of rest. So I'd say for every like 12 hours, maybe more, you got about 3 hours of rest. And then you had to cycle back through and do the different stations that you'd be at. Like I said, QRF, then you'd go to post, and then you'd be the squad that was pushing patrols. And when we were pushing patrols, we were doing raids, we were doing cordon knocks. Cordon knock is more of a kind raid. You know, we're coming in, we're gonna look, we're gonna find stuff, you know, or we're not gonna find stuff, but we're just not being quite as aggressive about it. And also where I was called, nicknamed IED Alley. A bomb was going off at least every 4 hours. You couldn't make it 24/7 without something exploding, something going off. I mean, it was that constant. And we were there to guard a main supply route between two major cities, and it was just constantly getting bombed. So we were trying to find those weapons, find those explosives, find those people that were doing it.
On September 14th, 2006, Jonathan's daily routine as a Marine would come to an abrupt end.
The day I got injured, a few things led up to that. The night before, we had, I would say, captured or took in an Iraqi, questioned him, and he ended up having information that was of value to our command. Apparently there was somebody that was in our area that was a valued target, somebody that was a leader of all these things that were going on, and they wanted to push a patrol and see if we couldn't raid a house and find this guy. One of the issues we had, though, was the rotation across the wire and back to our base kind of got messed up. So we found ourselves undermanned. So we started pulling extra duties on them different shifts that I was telling you about, the rotating shifts that we were doing. We started skipping the sleep part, and we were just constantly working. So the day that I got hit by the ID, I had already been awake for 2 days straight. It was early in the morning. The sun was just coming up. It was actually a beautiful day. I took about 3 steps more into that alley, and then I took 1 step. I fell right down to my face. There would be ambushes after blast. I saw all this blood on me. Blood on my hands, blood on the ground. I realized it was coming from me.
Be sure to subscribe below for weekly episodes, and follow Home Promise on Facebook for updates, special clips, interviews, and much more.